And welcome back to another episode of Over the Glass. I am your host, Jay.
I'm your hostess. Welcome.
And the Barracuda have advanced to the divisional semifinals.
Let's go. I bought tickets.
Oh, they're on sale already?
They've been on sale, yeah.
Oh, damn it. I was trying to find them this morning, and I thought, I guess they're not on sale yet.
I could send you a link.
Is this like in the know club?
They posted about it during the first round, like in case that they were gonna go through. So I bought them this morning when I saw the schedule out, and I was like, yeah. So I'll be going next Sunday after we record. I'll be heading over there. Oh, I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah, hockey.
Well, I got to check out the first game, and it was snippy out there. They were excited. Both teams were excited. I think the Cuda kind of had the edge. No bias there, but I felt that. And yeah, so I didn't get to catch the second game, which turns out we had two Bay teams going against Rain teams yesterday night. I just put the 2-2 together this morning that the Barracuda are going against the Ontario Reign, and Bay FC was going against Seattle Reign. So there were two Reign teams. It would have been extra cool if both Bay teams could have taken down Reign teams, but they got real close. It was a very fun, tight match, so I can't be upset that they couldn't get the win. They ended up drawing on the match, but it's nice to see that the Barracuda have been able to advance and not give Reign any opportunity to come back in this series. So
yeah, it's apparently like the AHL playoffs has been surprising for some people because the Reign were higher in the standings than the Cuda, and I forgot who else. Was it the Wranglers also were higher up in the standings, and Coachella Valley just knocked them out as well. So now the next round, the Cuda have advanced. They will be playing against the Eagles, and then Coachella Valley, I don't remember who they're playing against. I think Abbotsford or something. Or I can't remember who got knocked out, but either way.
We're advancing, so it doesn't matter.
That's all that matters.
I pulled it up here. So we're going against the Colorado Eagles in this next round. It's best of 5. And then the Canucks AHL team will be going against the Firebirds.
Okay, yeah. So knocked out some of the better players in the playoffs in the first round, which is how things go. The Cuda are looking pretty good. I also wasn't able to catch the second game. I was able to catch a bit of the first one, enough to see them score 2 goals and ask her out to get the shutout. And then the second one, I just watched highlights, and it seemed they were pretty closely matched. I think the Cuda might have scored the first goal in the second period, and then the Reign came back in the third, and then just over 2 minutes before the game was over, Colin Graff scored the game-winning goal. So good for him. He's using his NHL experience to bring the Cuda out into the second round in the playoffs. So I'm excited. This city has not seen playoffs since 2019 in any capacity. It's going to be fun. I think people are going to enjoy this for a little bit.
Well, we did have the Niners go to the playoffs, but
that's not San Jose.
Fine. Okay.
He's next door.
The most I got to see of the second game was Colin Graff scoring, and then him doing his celebration to the crowd. They were in Ontario, so it's like, you're welcome. You can go home now, was what he was saying. He was like, good night. So that's exciting. Hopefully I can grab some tickets. I'm sure many folks will be trying to go out to this next series. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colorado Eagles, number 1 in the Pacific Division. Yeah. Are they in the Pacific? I'm just seeing Pacific Division on this bracket, so I'm gonna assume I'm looking at it correctly. But yeah, so good job, Kuda.
Yay.
So Shang Peng, I think this was after the game the other day. Okay, after the first game, he tweeted out, "Why, quote, be a pig, end quote, for Barracuda playoffs motto." Regenda said, "The pig is a sacrifice for breakfast, like you have bacon." You gotta kill the pig. So it's the biggest sacrifice. We're gonna sacrifice for each other on the ice. Cagnoni said, "Put your body in the line for anything for your brothers." Askarov said, "I can't explain. I'm not American." McCarthy said, "Just something that we talk about with the team about commitment." Sure, whatever gets you guys going or something.
Yeah, I think people were just asking about, because they had T-shirts, right? And it was like this buff ass pig wearing like a Kuda shirt. And so I think Shang asked, like, what's the deal with the shirt? I forgot who was wearing it. And so, you know, they have the explanation, be a pig is their motto, which is so silly to me. Like, a pig? You know what it reminded me of when I was reading it, though? Charlotte's Web. Some pig.
Mm-hmm. I'm with Askarov. I can't explain. Only I am American, but this is hockey bro talk. If whatever they want, whatever they need to get them to the next level, then you do you, is where I'm at with this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Athletes are weird. Hockey bros in general are weird. Be a pig or whatever.
But something that we can understand is that on the 22nd of April, the Barracuda signed two-time national champion goaltender Matt Davis. So from this article on the Barracuda website, the Barracuda, the top affiliate of the San Jose Sharks, and general manager Joe Will announced today that the team has signed goaltender Matt Davis to an AHL contract through the 25-26 season. Davis, 23, recently completed his final season at Denver University, where he appeared in 40 games, posting 29-10-1 record with a 2.07 goals against average and a 0.924 save percentage. He helped lead the Pioneers to their second consecutive Frozen Four appearance and was named to the NCHC All-Tournament team, as well as NCHC Scholar Athlete of the Year. A two-time NCAA national champion, the Calgary, Alberta native backstopped the Pioneers to their record-setting 10th national championship in 2024, earning NCAA Frozen Four Most Outstanding Player honors in the national championship game. He made 25 stops in a 2-0 win over Boston College. He was also named DU's Bill Masterton Team MVP. Over a 4-year collegiate career, the 6'1", 192-pound netminder compiled a 63-17-4 record with a 2.13 GAA, a .921 save percentage, and 6 shutouts. Prior to college, he played 1 season with the USHL's Green Bay Gamblers. Davis comes from an athletic family. His younger brother, Jaden, is a forward at Notre Dame. His older brother, Cole, is a former member of Team Canada in rugby and plays professionally. His father, John, played in the Canadian Football League with Edmonton and Toronto. He is also cousins with NBA player Dylan Brooks. Thoughts?
Damn. That's a lot of like high level athletic beings in his family. That's crazy. I did not hear about this guy prior to the signing because I don't pay attention to minor league hockey, collegiate level hockey, none of it. It's really hard to keep up with these things. I don't have access. But I saw people really excited about this signing. I didn't realize like how well this kid played. He's only 23. Well, I guess that's a decent age for him to come over, but we won't actually get to see him playing for the CUDA until next season, I guess. I thought it was interesting though, because one of the first people I saw comment on it was Liz Child. For those of you who don't know or follow the Sharks as closely as we do, she used to work for the Barracuda. I don't know, it's been a couple seasons or a season now. And so she's very knowledgeable in minor league hockey, all those players that are coming up, collegiate level. She keeps track of all that. She's currently working at Flow Hockey and is doing her thing there, and bringing all that information to them. But I apparently could predict that the CUDA or the Sharks were going to sign this guy at some point. And I don't understand how she does it, because this isn't the first time I've seen her predict something like this. Like she just knows. But yeah, this guy seems, I don't know, like it's bringing more depth to our goalies. I don't know if he's going to be good enough to make it to the NHL. Like at any point, we have so many different goalies like in our pipeline. We don't know what's going on with that, other than Askarov is going to be our number one guy at some point, right? But it will be interesting to see what he can do.
So I'm actually familiar with him because I watched the Frozen Four tournament the season before last, when Macklin and Will Smith were all in it, because I really wanted to like take a look at how our dudes up and coming are looking like and whatever. And yeah, that final with Boston and Denver University, I remember this goaltender. Like BC was having a real difficult time against this goalie. Will Smith being on the first line, the first power play, and we know all about like Leonard and the guy that went to New York. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but his line mates who ended up going back to BC for an extra season didn't sign until recently, with them signing their entry level contracts for the team in the last couple of games of this regular season. They had a real difficult time getting one behind Davis there, and I was just thinking, man, how lucky is any team that's going to sign Matt Davis? And that's as far as my thought went. I did not even think, there's no way that like this guy is going to San Jose. Like I already assumed that he was like a draft pick of somebody's, like all this stuff, like not even a thought in my mind. Very similar to how, you know, Askarov's journey to San Jose was like, oh, this like very elite talked about prospect is potentially on the market. Well, definitely not in a conversation with the Sharks. Like I didn't even think about it. And then we ended up getting Askarov. And so to sign this guy, and then to think about who we have in the pipeline, we have Askarov, we have Romanov. Now we add this guy to the mix. Like, what an exciting time for us in net. Like, of course, Askarov is our number one prospect for our goalies, and you know him getting the shutout in the first game, him helping the team. No, wait, he didn't play. No, wait, he did. Right?
Yes.
I think I'm remembering like the regular season games, and he didn't play those ones, but I think he started for the finals for this
Playoffs.
first round. Anyways, yes. You know, for him to help advance the Barracuda into this next round, we know Greer is telling him, hey, there's an opportunity for you here next season with the Sharks. Of course, he has to earn it. It's not just he's going to just, you know, open the door for him and let him walk in freely. He obviously, everybody in the pipeline and on the current team, whatever your case may be, you've got to earn your spot here. So to add this elite, like we already went through his resume, like, and you already like, gave you a reaction like, wow, that's a lot of great things already, and you're only 23, and we signed him. Like, what a great time for us right now. I'm excited for everybody in net. Like, it's been a while since we've been able to be excited about who we have. Like in the past when we've signed guys, we're just like, I hope he does well, but we don't read about this stuff. We're just like, yeah, he's played a couple of seasons in the OHL or something, and you're wishing him well. But for this guy to have knocked out Will Smith's team the season before last, to have knocked out BU, I believe, in that same Frozen Four, and then to continue to do it again and then get this MVP award. The other stuff that I mentioned, like this guy's coming in with a mindset of what's next for me? What do I get to put next on my mantle of achievements? Mm-hmm. And then to have him potentially be, I don't know if he's probably starting with the Barracuda. I think that's a safe bet, of course, since he signed with the Barracuda in this announcement. So that's also great for the Barracuda next season. The direction is, of course, giving Askarov the opportunity to fight for a position. Right now we don't have a goaltender for the Sharks. We're not bringing back Georgiev. The door is wide open for Askarov to take the reins and to show the team why he deserves to stay here, why we made a great decision to sign him here. And then if he does end up staying full-time with the Sharks, this is great for the Barracuda to now have someone who is going to have this drive for success for the next chapter of his career, and then to continue to give the Barracuda a winning culture. However far that they go in this current playoffs, like we hope they go all the way. It's been, like you said, a long while since this area has seen the playoffs, and the Barracuda suffered greatly in the past with having very poor prospect pool, and the Sharks trying to make playoffs, so they're taking all their top guys and whatever. Like Barracuda have been hurting for for any sort of success, and now that we're in this opportunity where both clubs are able to be successful, like this is really, really exciting.
Yeah. It's like when we feel like, okay, we're finally getting to this place that we were so looking forward to with younger prospects. It's like, what's the next level? There's like this like the excitement isn't as big as it has been because we're finally seeing whatever, like the oh my god, what am I trying to say? We're finally seeing where this team is going. It's not like what are the possibilities, right? So you kind of have more of an idea of what this team is going to look like. And then all of a sudden Greer comes in and is like, actually, let me give you something else to be excited for. We're not done. I don't know this man. I love the way this man's brain works. How he's able to pull all these guys in, I don't know, but I'd like to sit in a room one day.
Like I said, when I saw this guy during that the year before last Frozen Four, not a thought in my mind that like he's already taken. No way he's looking in our direction. Like, oh, he's not looking at us. He doesn't want to date us and whatever, and then they sign this guy. Like he's seeing what we're doing here, and he's like, yes, I would like to sign there. Thank you very much. May I have some more of what you have? Yeah. And that's cool because, not even a season ago, if you look back to when we were ranting about media guys who aren't even within this like Bay Area circle, following this team as closely as we do, as closely as our local media folks like Shang Peng and Max Miller and, other podcasts, in this realm. Like, not saying that we're experts of course, we're not in there as much as like the media guys are, but when you're looking on the outside in and you're making these comments about it, it's very easy to identify like, oh, you don't actually follow this team. You follow one or two things and then you compare it to another team that's done a rebuild and you're like, oh, no, Sharks are doomed for failure. What are they doing? They're down in 32nd. No one's going to want to sign with them. The taxes in California are going to deter people. Like, what now? What?
Actually, you're wrong.
Now? Incorrect. Yeah. So cool. So cool. Like Barracuda are continuing success. Hopefully they get more of it here. And then we have something else to look forward to for both the Sharks and the Barracuda for next season. Moving on to some other Sharks stuff. It's the off season. We know that a couple of our guys are going to the Worlds tournament. So I may try to catch some of those games there just because there's going to be a number of our guys on their respective country clubs. So it'll be different to see them going against each other. But there was an appearance on Cat Toffolis' podcast with Tyler Toffoli as the guest host as well. And they were interviewing none other than Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini. I highly recommend that you listen to the whole thing. I swear they like the host didn't even have to talk. You literally just sit back and listen to these two dummies like just ramble on forever. Like they need one prompt and you get like a 20-minute like response, which if you followed hockey for a long time, it's like, this is impressive that they were able to get this much of a response and it was genuine and it wasn't just like hockey answers. It was like, this is an exciting time for anyone who just enjoys great personalities and just happen to be in a sporting situation. So I want to share a clip that was put out, was actually put out by the NHL's Instagram account. I mean, these guys are so inseparable and contagious that they are making the main page of the NHL. So we haven't seen that in a hot minute. All right, there is. Okay.
So silly.
Okay, I'm gonna refresh this real quick.
Don't say something stupid. I'm not getting a donkey. He's like loud. He like he just talks all the time, loud. Just laugh, like all that stuff. And he's not the brightest. So what he does? Like, have you ever heard a donkey laugh? Don't say something stupid. I'm not getting a donkey.
Yeah. So
for those of you watching, the prompt was. Oh wait, I have to restart this.
They asked I'll bring it up again. It says, what animal does Celebrini basically pick an animal that they resemble? And Celebrini said that Will Smith is a donkey, which I just died when he said that.
Before he answered, Will Smith was like, don't say something stupid. He's like, I'm not. He goes, a donkey. So dumb. These kids, man. No wonder they're having such a great time in the locker room.
I looked up what Macklin is, zodiac, and I believe he's a Gemini.
Oh, interesting. What's Smith?
Yeah. Smith is a Pisces.
Aw.
I don't. So in the full episode, I don't remember what Will Smith said of Macklin, but he was trying. He was a little. He was trying to like be nice, and I don't know if they like pushed him on. I don't remember, but then he ended up giving a response that I think wasn't it. Like, I mean, Macklin said he was a donkey, so like, so his personality, like Macklin's like, no, I'm gonna say it, and like Will Smith's like, I don't know. But that's what prompted me. I'm like, what are their signs? And I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Like Macklin does give off Gemini vibes, where he's just like, just gonna throw the grenade in there and see what happens.
Deal with the consequences after.
So on the same wavelength of Macklin and Will, there was also another clip that was put out by Bar Down. I'm going to play it here for the YouTubers, and then we'll describe it for the people watching. Basically, it was an Instagram reel, and the prompt says not everything has to be a two-person job. It's basically Mac and Will doing things together for and they were activities that like you would not have like it doesn't require another person, but they're like taping one stick, they're playing ping pong with a single paddle. There's another one where they were like writing together on a piece of paper with one pen. They were putting a helmet and strapping it on to the other person, and they're trying to keep and not give off any like laughing facial expressions, and
it breaks every single time.
Yeah, it's just incredibly stupid. So go check that out on Bar Down if you haven't seen it already. These two guys are ridiculous.
I like the first comment says they're like a bonded pair of cats you have to adopt together.
It's so dumb. Anyways, but the vibes are so great out here. Yeah, we're no worries. I mean, sure, we would have loved to have had a better regular season, but I'm not even mad about it. Not even mad. So I wanted to do just kind of a reaction for the first week of the playoffs, because last week, if you were listening, we kind of gave our like loose predictions of who was going to advance to the next round. And so I kind of wanted to just like follow up on that and get a reaction to how we feel from 1 week in. So the Winnipeg Jets are up 2-1 to the Blues, and I believe we both said that our choice was the Jets. So this is kind of, for me, going along as I predicted. I haven't watched a single Jets-Blues game, but I
tried. I was bored.
Oh, no.
I didn't care for it. It wasn't my favorite. I think I'm surprised by some of these, though.
So the Dallas Stars and Colorado Avalanche game has actually been more neck and neck than I had said. You had said that you expected it to be neck and neck. And I mean, I guess in this case, I will say thank you, Stars, for making it more interesting than I had predicted. I mean, Robertson is still out of the lineup, but I remember the first game, the Avs won, and it was like ridiculous the amount of like the tilt on the ice for game 1. But then game 2, the Stars kind of realized what they needed to do, came in with more punch in their game. And I don't know a whole lot of guys on the Stars, but the guy who ended up winning that second game was Colin Blackwood, and I've just got to give a shout out to him being a short king.
Blackwell.
And he was Blackwell, yes, and you know him getting that win for the Stars. So currently they are all tied up.
I do believe he played for the Cuda for a little bit. I'm pretty sure. Colin Blackwell. The name sounds familiar.
Let's take a look.
Tell me I'm right.
Yes, 2016, 2017. Looks like for most of the season. Well, I guess we decided, nah. But I mean, I guess he's doing great things. I mean, he's 5'9", so you know, these guys, as we've talked about, are always having to do more to get noticed. They're easily written off. They're usually not high choices in the NHL draft. So it's always great to see these short statured players
5'9"
continue to be
is crazy.
I know, right? So that's a series that I've actually been trying to keep up with and catch games where I can. They called up Landeskog for game 3. He got an assist on one of those goals, and then last night's game, he got his first NHL goal since returning back to the league. So
a goal
I in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when we talked about this initially with Landeskog playing in his conditioning assignment with the Eagles, I kind of thought like, well, they're probably not going to call him up for like at least until the second round. So the Avs better, you know, advance into the next round to get Landeskog come back in. But I believe there was a couple of injuries that kind of opened up the door, and then they didn't bring him back for the second game, for game 2, which was kind of talked about like, oh, is he going to come in for that? But I think it is most appropriate that they brought him in for game 3, because that was the first home game for the Avs. So he got that warm reception. Everyone's chanting his name. I'm sure his family was in attendance, like all that stuff. So yeah,
they did lose that game. But can you imagine though if they had waited to call Landeskog up, and you know he's playing for the Eagles in their playoffs, and the Cuda has to go against fucking Gabriel Landeskog? That would have been crazy. I'm glad they called him up sooner than they had to, or they planned to. I did hear some drama. I don't know what it is about this Dallas Colorado drama, but last night, whatever, the Avalanche did get a shutout. Dallas couldn't score on Blackwood, and the Avs wanted to collect the puck at the end of the game to give to Blackwood for his first NHL playoff shutout. And apparently, I don't know, I saw a tweet about it. I don't remember which broadcast was that said it, Dallas or Colorado, but they were like, the Avs were looking for the puck, but Dallas took it and left.
Petty.
They're so petty. And then I saw another person comment. I was like, I bet you it was Rantanen.
Speaking of Rantanen, he got the assist on the game-winning goal on the Stars' previous win. So add to that drama.
Yeah. Oh man.
So Vegas and the Wild are tied up in this series, and
are you surprised?
I think a little bit. I guess a little bit. Just because I didn't really expect too much. Like I didn't expect a sweep. Like the Wild have got a number of obviously very talented players on the team, but you know, Vegas being Vegas, they still have a lot of their guys that helped them win the cup a couple of seasons back, and with them doing really well for the most part during the regular season, I kind of expected Vegas to come out with a little more punch there. So for this series to be tied up is kind of more unexpected for me, but I welcome it. Especially from a couple of days ago, there was an article, I didn't read it, but the headline was essentially like Vegas's top stars are nowhere to be found. And I was like, excellent. Tell me more.
Don't let them shine.
So, but yeah, that'll be really interesting to see if the Wild can hang in there. But if you're watching that series, I am not. If you're watching it, it looks like it's exciting.
Yeah. I have tuned in for a little bit on those, and it has been interesting, the back and forth. Minnesota is playing a lot better than I expected them to, but again, I don't keep up with the team. I didn't really watch them during the season, so I didn't really know what to expect, but it's nice to see that they're putting up a real fight. Like, Vegas is not going to take this one easily, and it's nice to see.
And then finally on the Western Conference, we have the Kings and the Oilers. The Kings have been doing, I mean, I guess if I wasn't such a hater to them, I would have given them more credit, but they've been doing quite well. But when we talked about this last week, I had said, the Oilers are going to find the next gear because they have to. There's like, that whole organization is going to burst into flames if they don't, if they get a first round knockout. But, the Kings have been clawing at the playoffs for some time now, and they just really haven't looked that great and have gotten much success in previous seasons. But I guess in that sense, they also kind of have to, make the next step here. I believe the Kings took the first two games, and then the Oilers won the most recent game. And then also in that game, they did activate Vander Kane, which I immediately thought, Oilers are officially going to lose this series because they did that.
He's so emotional. He's going to fuck it up for them.
But that first game, though, I didn't watch it, but I saw that the Kings were up by like several goals. And then in the third period, McDavid pretty much dragging that team back into the game, only
As
to then the Kings. Yeah, only for the Kings to then end up winning the game. Story.
I think I caught a little bit of that one. That one was crazy because he tied it. What was it? I don't remember the score, but it was a pretty high scoring game for playoffs. McDavid was able, I think it was like 6-6 or something. I'm probably making that up. Anyways.
It was pretty high score. It was a pretty high score.
And everyone was like, oh my God, can they do it? Are they going to do it? And then like a minute before the game is over, the Kings get the lead and win the game or something like that. It was like, you know what? Good for them. I have no loyalties to Edmonton.
In the Eastern Conference, Toronto is finding another gear here, but with their history, no one can feel any size of relief yet. Even though they're up 3-1 in this series, the Senators escaped being swept the other night by getting this win. I believe it went into 2 OTs. I remember seeing the score the other day. I think it went for a while. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. There's another city that can't afford to get knocked out in the first round and may burst into flames. But like we said, we're here for the underdog. We're Senators fans for the time being for this series. And do they play tonight?
I'm not sure. The schedule is,
let's take a look. Today, as in Sunday, when we record, let's see who's playing today. Oh, the Hurricanes are currently playing. The Capitals are playing later today. The Kings. Okay, so, and at the time of this recording, we originally said that the Jets are up 2-1 against the Blues. Well, now the Blues tied up the series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so Monday is when I believe. Nope, I correct myself. The next game for the Leafs and Senators is on Tuesday. So I might check that one out. It's been
Yeah,
I
that
haven't
should
been
be
able to
fun.
catch any of these games, but okay. So next in the Eastern Conference is the Bolts versus the Panthers. I believe you chose the Bolts and I chose the Panthers. And right now the Florida Panthers are up 2-1 against the Bolts. So how do you feel about that?
I haven't caught any of this game, so I feel indifferent. I don't really care who wins. I think for the story, we wanted Ottawa and Florida to make it to the next round. Because of the
Sounds about
cutout
right.
players.
Right.
I don't care for these teams. It's
We're here
Florida.
for the drama. If you're here for any sort of analytical breakdown, that is not what's happening here.
Right.
I kind of expected that the series to go this way thus far. But the Bolts, they've got Vasilevsky in net. They still have a couple of their core guys that have helped them reach success in previous playoff seasons. So I don't necessarily see the Florida Panthers just running away with this series, but whatever may come, I think the Panthers probably have the edge still. The Washington Capitals and the Habs. I think it was game 1 when Ovi got that overtime winner, and so I was watching that game, and the announcers were talking about like Ovi's got all these achievements and stuff, and they were talking about how like Ovechkin's never gotten like a game winning goal in like overtime. And then like moments later he gets that and it's like, oh, check that off the list. And like his celebration, if you think back to when the Capitals were in the finals against Vegas, and they always panned in on Ovechkin, and he is like any fan watching the sport. He is just like, oh my God, and whatever. He's so invested, like he's a fan, and he's also playing in the game. And for him to get, who leaves Ovechkin out all alone in front of the crease? Like this man will find any slither of an opening in the net and make you pay for it. And that's essentially what he ended up doing. And his celebration, they were in Washington, so I guess that's extra appropriate. And he was just over the moon, super excited and whatever. But the Habs are not taking this one laying down again and again. Every time I look at the stat card for the Habs, guess who's at the top of the list?
Who?
Lane Hudson. I am so jealous of the Habs to have this great defensive prospect on their team who's made his NHL debut in this past regular season and has been the story that's helped the Habs get to this next level in their development, and to continue to have success in the playoffs against the Washington Capitals that won the Eastern Conference standings. Like, this guy's pretty impressive, and I'm super jealous.
Yeah, I saw a video of, well, it doesn't have to do with Lane Hudson specifically, of someone tweeted the intro of the Washington versus Habs game, first Habs home game in however long it's been that they've been in the playoffs. And while I didn't watch it with the sound on, you could tell that place was loud. Like they were so excited to be there. And just reading the comments about like, yeah, if you've ever been, it's like very reminiscent to like European soccer stadium levels of loud. And that's insane to think about because that's crazy. That's loud. So they're having a great time over there. They got this great prospect. A few great prospects because they also got Ivan Demidov, who just signed before playoffs started. Obviously, Lane Hudson, they're in the playoffs for the first time, and I don't know how long, and they're not getting like their asses whooped. They're putting up a fight, and it's exciting for them over there. That's good for them.
And finally, the Hurricanes and the Devils. The Devils have been going through the injury cycle. Luke Hughes, I believe, is still out. Brendan Dillon went down in the first game, and they've had to call
the
it.
Other Hughes went down.
Yeah, well, he's been down. But they've really had to dig into their depth. I believe it was Nemec that got the game-winning goal this past game. They're playing right now, as I had said, for game 4, so we'll see how that goes. But
they're currently playing as we speak.
Yeah, but I still think, given the situation with those injuries, and they're very notable injuries, I still feel like the Canes are going to come out with this one. But like we said, we will root for the underdog here, but they're definitely got quite a bit of an uphill battle to go.
Yeah, currently the Canes are up 2-0 in the first period, so we'll see how that game goes. But we're still rooting for you, Jersey. Speaking of.
All right. Well, speaking of, we're actually going to take a moment to talk about our sponsors, which you should know by now is DraftKings. So the NBA 82-game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for the all-high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking for make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40 or more? It's your call. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bet expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. So the interesting thing about last night's game against Bay FC is that, so apparently the Warriors were playing, and my neighbors to my left, who are also season ticket holders, I was sitting next to them all season last season. I guess they're also basketball fans, because during the halftime, I saw them looking at their phone, looking at the scores for the NBA, and then during the second half, I think there was like a brief, I think they were playing or whatever. The AFC and Reign were continuing their match, and then on the big screen it just flashed Warriors won. And everyone's like, woo! Yeah. And my first thought was, what if people in this crowd are like recording it? you just spoiled it for them. But oh well, I guess. So let's see. So the money line for the NBA, is this today? Oh, well, I guess I won't give you guys that. Let's see. No. I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay, tomorrow, as in Monday, since we are Bay fans, the Golden State Warriors go against the Houston Rockets. The Warriors are a -170, a +142. If you don't care about the Warriors, which you're just wrong for that. The Heat goes against the Cavaliers. The Heat are a plus 295 to the negative 375. We're biased out here, so you don't have to take it from us. We're definitely not thinking about it in any analytical terminology. But if you don't care about the NBA, well, tomorrow and Monday, as we were talking about, the Bolts go against the Panthers. The Bolts are plus 120 to the negative 142 Panthers. And then the Avs go against the Stars Avs are a negative 142 to the plus 120 Stars. So if you're interested in betting, go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and place your bets using our code THPN. All right, so to continue a little more on what's happening with the playoffs, did you see this headbutt by Brent Burns on Timo Meier a couple of games ago?
I heard about it.
A friend sent me this, and I was like, oh. So, oops, I'm gonna show it here. All right, so gonna play this back. If you're
and that will do it in the second. And Timo Meier gets into it with Burns, who took a huge swipe at Timo Meier at the end of the second. And a shrug from Timo Meier. And look at this.
Look at the smile on his face afterwards, too. Here's a look, another angle at it here. And headbutt.
Burns is such a shithead.
Here we go.
It is the good stuff. Let's go. 2-1. And that will do it.
Yeah, so that happened. And it's kind of hard to see what was like going on in the commotion there and whatever, but we know that temperatures rise during this playoff season, but it is kind of disorienting to see two former Sharks players kind of get into a confrontation there with each other, and Burns' reaction is to headbutt Timo Meier. Yeah.
With a big ass smile on his face.
And just barking at Timo. Yeah, that's interesting. I actually want to get your thoughts on I think this was during the Avs Stars game. There was initially there was a call for a penalty, I believe. I may be mixing this up, but I'll go with this wavelength here. Sean I don't know how to say his last name. Pretty much he writes, there you go. On socials, he goes by Down Goes Brown. If you have seen his athletic articles, that's kind of where I know him from. But his reaction to pretty much there was a no penalty call on a play that the puck was played, but the follow through led to a high stick. And then if I remember correctly, it could possibly be two different things that I'm associating with it, but it possibly someone got hit in the face with it. And if it wasn't in the rule book that a follow through is allowed, they could have potentially been assessed the double minor. But it was initially called a double minor so they could review the play, and then it got called back. I can't remember who was the assessor of the follow-through high stick, but that whole bench was livid when it was called a double minor because they were like, what the hell? And then, of course, it got called back, which in my eyes, I thought that was the appropriate call. But then because it is a rule, Sean was saying his Blue Sky post says the follow-through rule on high sticks is dumb and has always been dumb, but it is the rule. So I thought this was interesting to think about, and I want to get your thoughts on. So if you're not playing the puck, of course, and you're waving your stick wildly around and it hits someone in the face, of course, that is considered a high stick. But because he was playing the puck and he was trying to get it away, he hits the puck, but then the follow through of his swing ends up hitting the guy who was also battling for the puck in the face. And then it's considered, well, it's not a penalty because it was a follow through of his swing of the stick.
I don't know, because it wasn't intentional. Well, I would assume it's not intentional because you're playing the puck, but you're still injuring someone. Especially if there's blood. I feel like there should be some consequences for that, right? I don't know. I don't get paid enough for this. I can't make this decision.
So do you feel fine with it not being a penalty?
I think if I was a fan of the team who committed the crime, yes, I'd be fine with it. If I was a fan of the team who was smacked in the face, I think I'd be angry that it wasn't a penalty. It's hard to say.
So my feelings on this is if you don't make it a rule that it's allowed because he played the puck. So, okay. Didn't they make a change to the tripping penalty a while back? Like, I remember there's been a couple of instances in this past season where someone has played the puck but still contributed to a player being tripped. And is that called a penalty now for tripping?
I don't know. I haven't seen it in play.
I have to look back at this because I remember having a conversation with a friend and being like, what? But anyways, disregard what I said. Let's focus on the high stick here. In this instance, I kind of feel like if you don't allow this rule, then you're basically telling players that you have to, I guess, watch your swing or whatever. Like, so we know that when there's like a puck driving to the net and people are trying to tip it, it gets disallowed when the stick is too high. It's above the crossbar. I guess that's something that you just kind of learn to take out of your game, even though we still see it happening. So I guess in this instance, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you get players to stop doing windmills with their stick when they're I guess so. Like I guess in like if they were to change it, I'd kind of be like, I guess, but currently I'm kind of whatever about it. I'm fine with it currently being a rule. Cause like then we have to think about, well, where is like the threshold? Because what if dude is like falling as this guy is trying to get, swing to get the puck out of the zone, and or maybe if the person is like super tall. I think then you have to start assessing like a high stick tip at the net. I think you have to identify where the threshold is of, because if I hit someone's face and they're like midway down because they're looking at the puck, does that mean it's now a penalty because his face was there? But it's like I hit him, right. Well, me as in I probably would like hit everybody's. Everyone would end up hitting my face, but if it's like 4 feet off the ground and someone just happens to have their face down there, I don't know. I don't see it going away anytime soon, but it was interesting to see that I haven't really seen someone have an issue with the follow-through rule. That was just always something that I just like, it's just part of it. It's part of the game and whatever. But anyways, thought that'd be interesting to bring up.
That makes sense.
And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the usual firing. It's fire season in the NHL after the regular season's closed out, and a number of teams have been unsuccessful into making the playoffs. None of that happening with the Sharks right now. We're all good and fine, despite people apparently wanting to fire Wasowski, fire Greer. We are not on that ship. We are happy. We are fine. Whatever. But the New York Rangers decided they were going to fire Laviolette because why? And what I thought was interesting is that now whoever's the next coach is going to be, it's going to be 4 coaches in 4 seasons for the Rangers. Like,
Really?
Yeah, this is going to be the 4th coach in 4 seasons. Granted, Chris Drury is their current GM, and so this will be his 3rd coach in 3 seasons, I believe. But whatever I guess you feel is right, only for this to lead to the owner of the Rangers feeling confident in Chris Drury to sign him to a multi-year extension. Like, what is going on with the Rangers, and why is it none of our problem? Like, this is something that we'll talk about in a little bit here. I mean, for one part, I can't be too upset with the original 6 team that has had multiple cups, and I think their last one was like 20 years ago or something. So there's only so much sympathy I can give to a franchise that has cups. But this doesn't really seem like the answer, and it's weird that then the GM gets praised by getting a multi-year extension to his contract.
Yeah. No, that doesn't. It feels like the coaches are a cop-out.
Mm-hmm.
What can a coach do in one season? Like, I understand the team is not doing well and is not performing up to your standards, but there's only so much a coach can do. Like, there could be multiple things contributing to such a season gone to waste, if you will. Locker room, chemistry. I don't know. Maybe they didn't like how Laviolette was handling the players. I don't know. I wasn't there. But like,
so last season was actually the first season for Laviolette, and he took them to the conference finals.
So what happened? He has one bad season and you blame him, not the team?
We don't blame the GM for mixing up like selling off players and whatever the heck, and not doing his job well. Apparently he gets to stick around and get a fresh new contract, and Laviolette's got to go. He's probably going to get another job, as we've seen with this recycle coach roulette and whatever. But very, very interesting stuff coming out of New York. And then within the vicinity of the Rangers, the New York Islanders, who we know have been struggle busts to get into the playoffs, decided, we've about had it with Lamoriello, and he has been fired. So the Islanders are apparently upset with the direction of their team, and rightfully so.
Yeah. Although, what's his face? What's his bucket? What's his name? The GM? The Islanders GM?
Yeah, Lamoriello.
Thank you. Did he get fired or did he step down?
Pretty sure it's a firing. Let me get some more official
confirmation. Please wait. Please hold.
I'm pretty sure it was a firing.
Okay. Well, I'm not even mad about it. Because
official statement from the Islanders. The New York Islanders organization announced today that Lou Lamoriello's contract as president and general manager will not be renewed. So, I mean, fired, let go. They all mean the same. Effectively, immediately, operating partner John Collins will lead a search for the next general manager. Lou was the GM for 7 years. Let's see. When was the
in New York? It's been that long? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's fine. That team needed to come back to like the 2000s because what were those rules of the strict rules of not growing any hair?
So
Wait.
they made the finals for let's see, 7 years. I mean, they went to the conference finals for a couple of seasons, then missed the playoff, then lost in the first round, then missed the playoffs again. So, I mean, I guess I have an argument there. We're just like, yeah, it had potential early on and is now starting to go downhill. And I think it's fair. I think it's fair for them to let him go.
Wait, before he was GM of the Islanders, he was working for Toronto, no?
I'm pretty sure.
Wait, so I have a question.
Yes.
Because I don't remember. If his teams make the playoffs, are they allowed to grow beards then?
I just wish they would have fired him before Anthony Duclair had to get rid of his hair.
Ugh, it pisses me off. I will. Ugh. You know that video of that reporter throwing shoes at George W. Bush?
Mm-hmm. Is that you?
Like, what are you doing?
Is that you at the press conference for Lou Lamoriello?
Yes.
I think I saw a shoe get thrown. Ness took a train all the way to the New York Islanders arena to go throw that at Lou.
Oh man, unnecessary. Whatever. People, I don't think that obviously the head coaches take some blame for how other teams are doing to an extent, but I don't think giving them a year, like if they have an off year, it doesn't make sense to just fire them unless the GM is not getting along with the head coach, right? So, like again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I don't think Laviolette should have been let go.
Do you have some Chisney to dive into? Are you jumping ahead to this Kraken information I'm going to talk about next? Because the Kraken let go of Dan. How do you say his name? Bylsma.
Bylsma?
Yeah,
Maybe?
so he was a coach for the Kraken for 1 season, and he's being let go. Are you predicting the future here? And then Ron Francis, who was the one that was the inaugural season GM for the Kraken, was replaced with Jason Borderell. Jason Borderell, I'm probably saying his name wrong, was named executive vice president, general manager of the Kraken as of this past Tuesday. And Ron Francis has now been named the president of hockey operations. So they did a whole roulette in their front office. And then the coach was fired and he had only had 1 season with the Kraken. Thoughts on that?
I don't know. Same thing. Like, I don't know. Why 1 season? Is it because the Kraken really weren't doing well this year? Because they is this their 3rd or 4th season?
Let's see. They were founded in 2018. And so far, let's go to their record.
4th season?
Yeah, that's 4 seasons. So in 2021-22, they did not make the playoffs. And then we know the season after that, they made it to the first round, got knocked out by the Avs. And then this past season and the season before that, they did not qualify. This season, they were 7th in the Pacific with 76 points. which is 16 points higher than their inaugural season, but 5 points less than the previous season. And then the season that they made the playoffs, they reached 100 points. I mean, the Kraken made a lot of roster changes that I can recall in this past season. So I guess they were expecting to do much better. But then again, you have a brand new coach. Like when you make so many changes, this is why I find it really ridiculous that people were like, fire Ryan Warsawski, fire Greer. Like, okay, one, Greer is like trying to clean house and build prospect pool and create success for the Sharks. There's a lot of plates that he is juggling. And then Ryan Warsawski, it's his first season as an NHL coach, like his first ever on a shitty McShitty team that was in so many games to win it and just couldn't get over the top. And a large part of that, I just feel like just comes with time. These guys, Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, like we've talked about this to literal death.
Right. Because like example, Jared Bednar, the head coach of the Avs, how long was he coach before they won the Stanley Cup? Like I think they brought him in when the Avs, either during or shortly after the Avs had the worst season of like the NHL history. Like they were terrible. They brought him in, and it took him how many years to like have to like pull this team up out of the ground, as well as like the GM making all those moves, trades, whatever, bringing in people and where Greer is doing with the prospect pool. And then they were able to win the cup. So I don't know. Like, I understand people are impatient and want to see instant like progress and success, but like it's just reality. That's not how the world works. So like, chill out.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's really interesting that I don't know if like the Kraken are dealing with being in the shadow of
Vegas.
And the success that Vegas has had. I don't know, but it's just really interesting to see that this one guy, and maybe it's just something happened in the locker room. Maybe the players, the coaches are just, it's not a good fit. Like that could probably be it. I guess we'll never know, but it's on this topic, Shayna Goldman posted some statistics on Blue Sky. She said the NHL average coaching tenure was down to 2.51 years across 32 teams before Cronin, Laviolette, now Blisma, how do you say his last name, were fired. Now it's down to 2.3, which is even further below the other three major professional men's leagues. So I'm going to put this graphic up here, and we're going to, just to give some perspective for the other, the average tenure for head coaches, the MLB is 4.30, and then down below that, the NBA is 4.12, the NFL is 4.04. So these other leagues that are way more successful right now than the NHL tend to keep their coaches between 4 years to 4.3. So they give them adequate, time, but I just feel like maybe the NHL is just suffering from the fact that they don't have as much like revenue as these other major league franchises, that they're feeling like, well, we can't give you more than a couple of years. Like we need this turnaround like ASAP because we're losing money and whatever. I don't know, but it's silly
like
to see.
It's a panic play or something, It's like, I don't know what the problem is. Let's fire a coach.
Yeah. Because the dude that should probably really go, like GMs are just kind of been sitting there on their gold mine for a while. I mean, how long did it take for the Oilers to get rid of their previous GM before they replaced him? I don't know. But another post that she put out on Blue Sky, I don't have it linked here, but I remember that she was making a point about with how much these teams are just going around and firing their coaches, and we know how teams are like. There's already talk about like who was it on the Flyers? Tortorella. There's already talk after Tortorella was released that like teams are like, oh, he should go back to New York. Like the New York Rangers. And it's like there's literally other potential coaches out there. Like how I was really happy that we ended up signing Ryan Rosowski to be the head coach. We're just not in a position right now to be looking for someone who has like NHL playoff experience, and why not give it to someone who give him the opportunity to start creating his resume in the NHL. And I get being in a situation like the New York Rangers where they have certain players that are probably going to end up getting traded off if they can't create more success with this current roster. Like I get that part about like we don't have time to like usher in some fresh new guy that doesn't have the resume of being successful in the NHL, but the turnaround we see of coaches being fired and then just ending up like on another team is kind of ridiculous. So I did end up finding her tweet about NHL manager tenure. So I just want to like briefly show that. So the longest tenured current GM of the NHL is Doug Armstrong, who offhand I can't think of which team that he's on. He is on the Blues. Interesting. Almost 15 years with the Blues. I don't know. Maybe we'll see something if the Blues get knocked out in the first round here. The next one after that, oh my gosh. You want to try to say that name?
I can't even see it.
Oh. Let me see if I can blow this up for you.
Oh, okay.
You see it now?
That says Kevin.
This dude named Kevin.
Shevelsdayoff?
Winnipeg Jets. Oh, that'll be interesting. Oh, here's some more drama. If you're here for the soap opera of hockey, maybe one of these guys will get fired. The Blues versus the Jets, the two longest tenured GMs in the NHL. And then so I want to try and find one other, as I was talking about, the one other post that she brought up. Coaching no. There was something where she talked about how, here we go. The turnover is not surprising when a lot of teams hire the same names over and over again. Why change your coaching style if you'll get another job tomorrow? Remember this if coaches don't want to leave good positions. The lack of certainty isn't appealing to all. This is another interesting point that you're making this coaching change, as we talked about with like the Kraken, like you gave this guy one season, whatever the case may be. You're like, no, not good enough. Like you feeling confident, then I guess the GM feels confident. Well, okay. So they fired the GM, or they rearranged their front office, and then they fired their coach. So I guess Yeah, so they're kind of clean slating it. So in that instance, I guess you would want your choice of coach. I can kind of see it from that perspective. But when, as we talked about from the previous graphic with like the tenure for the coaches, like on average, you're giving these guys like 2 years and you're like, not good enough. Like the GM feels confident in their job that they're like, well, I gave you the tools. It's not my problem that you couldn't find success with it. So you are the problem. And so these GMs get more of a shielding from getting the axe because they're like, well, obviously it's the code because I'm perfect. Like, and then, but as Shayna pointed out, because of this like turnover with coaches, and then those coaches that let go, they end up on another team. Like, how often do we see that the same dudes just on a different team? And then you're like, maybe this time it'll be better, or maybe this time, whatever. But it's like her point of why change your coaching style if you just get another job tomorrow. Like, there's like these guys, they're just thinking, oh, this other dude that sort of has a similar style anyway, or has a slightly different style, like coach, like if you can find yourself in that nice sweet spot of having just enough experience and having that one cup run or whatever, like I'm not saying that Tortorella is like a terrible coach. It's just he's not going to work for everyone, but he does have that one Bolts Cup win under him. And how long has this dude been employed? So I'm just saying, like, you find that sweet spot and you're good. You don't have to change a damn thing because someone's going to be calling up your cell the next day, and you could coach very similar style, like in terms of your game for the players, and you can just maybe have a different like mindset on things. And that's kind of like where the GMs are like, we just need a slight tweak by getting this other guy that we've seen from afar that has had success, and that is what's going to get us over the top. But it's like whatever gets you to sleep at night, I don't know, like it's just very strange for the turnaround to be so quick. You're like, no, unacceptable, we should have easily been in the playoffs this season because that is how I drafted this team.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this before. It doesn't make sense. Like, these coaches don't ever change their coaching styles. This league specifically is so old-fashioned that's what GMs are looking for, right? And I think that was what was so refreshing about Greer coming in. It was his first time being a GM. Like, obviously he's worked front office positions in the league, whatever, because he came from the Rangers, but first time being a GM, and he brings in a brand new coach from a different, like a minor league team from the AHL who won a cup there, or a couple cups, I can't remember. But this is his first NHL gig, and it's nice to see because it's like, great, someone with a different playing or coaching style. Let's see something different. And as impatient as people are with the Sharks, what they're not realizing is that this team is fun to watch because of his coaching style. As angry as they are with him that they're not winning, they are a lot funner to watch. They're playing faster and they're playing better, even though they're not getting wins. Mic drop. I was just kidding.
And just a reminder, Rosofsky told Toffoli, hey, you got to go do that sleepover. He's like, you must have fun tonight. He's like, man,
I want to babysit.
Another interesting graphic that I came across this past week was evaluating the cost of being an NHL fan during this past regular season. And as much as frustrating it might be for some Sharks fans, I think it's good to put in perspective here that we're not having to pay quite as much as the rest of the league.
Yeah, but it's still a lot.
True. Well, cost of living in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But the Senators are right down here on the cheapo side. Great hockey experience of $80, of which includes the cost of the ticket, streaming service, parking, beer, and a hot dog. All these prices are in US dollar as of the 2nd of April. And then
That's my
on the other
birthday.
side, good job. And then on the other side of the spectrum, gives further context why the New York Rangers fans are extra upset, because the cost of them being an NHL fan is $300.
Insane. That's more than 3 times more than what the Senators fans are playing. It's really interesting to see who's like at the tippy top, though, because I'm not surprised to see Vegas up there, but I am a little surprised to see Seattle up there.
I definitely agree. When I saw Seattle right up there, a couple of bucks more than Vegas, couple of seasons back, I was in Vegas for a tournament, and I wanted to go watch a game in their arena, just cuz. And I was looking at tickets, and like nosebleed was around like $125, and it's not even like right there against the railing or whatever. And I would have gone, but none of my teammates wanted to spend that much to go. So, yeah, I just kind of expected, well, it's also Vegas, people come in and out through here. They know that they're going to be able to sell tickets. Their team has been very successful and whatever. But yeah, I'm curious to know what aspect of all those, the tickets, the streaming things that I talked about, come into play with the Kraken's number being around 194.
Maybe it's the streaming service, to be honest, because when I went to a game out there, it wasn't like much different than paying for a game in San Jose. Mind you, for those of you who don't go to games out here, a ticket for the Sharks currently is anywhere from like $40 to $100 some dollars for like the upper level, the 200 section. I don't sit in the lower bowl because I ain't got that kind of monies, but that's, it's not like crazy expensive. It's actually like on the cheaper side for any other sports that you come out, watch out here, except for baseball. You could get $7 giant tickets, like that's crazy.
But back in the day when the A's were here, super cheap.
$2. I don't drink beer, but I think a beer in SAP is about like $18. Parking for like parking in their actual lot, I think is like $30 or $40, which is crazy to me. I park in other lots for like $20, which is still kind of pricey, but like I'm not paying $40 to pay to park somewhere, That's crazy. And it's just a little bit of a walk. And the hot dog is like what, $7? I don't know. I can't imagine what food is like in New York. Like, just get a hot dog off the street and bring it in,
Bring it in your mouth. Yeah, so for the San Jose Sharks, the cost is estimated to be $118. So a couple of seasons back, you could have probably sat in the lower bowl for like the cost of being in upper bowl, just because we were like really, really terrible. They basically had to bring down the price to bring anyone in to the arena. And now we're starting to turn the corner. So, I mean, if your beef is with the cost, well, you gotta, all I can say is, well, you gotta be here for the long haul, and you would have gotten all those great cheap seats while we were granted not much to look at on the ice, but hey, you'd have a really cheap seat to sit in. But now that we're kind of turning the corner here, people are starting to come back in the arena. Of course, the cost of living and then the popularity of the team, the tickets will start going up. But I did mention to a friend of mine while we were talking about this that a friend of mine who I go to a lot of games with, who is a season ticket holder, I've noticed that he's gotten a lot more seat upgrades this season than he's had in the past. And so I want to say that the Sharks are doing stuff like that to help give back to these season ticket holders who are obviously probably pretty frustrated. They're paying a bunch of this money, supporting the team, and the team is crap on the ice, or in previous seasons was crappier on the ice. But I think they're adding more of this upgrade incentives. Not only does it make the season ticket holder happy, but it also, when he has upgraded his ticket, he does get to hold on to his other ones that he's just got, his regular seats, and then they can be given out to other folks. So it's like a win for the season ticket holder, win for the organization, where they have extra couple of bodies come in because they're not saying, hey, well, you have to give us those other tickets back. They're like, hey, go give them to someone else to come out and watch the game. So yeah, so if they continue to put out these sort of breakdown and costs, it'll be interesting to see what it looks like next season. But for the time being, there are some mad franchises out there, probably the New York Rangers and the Boston Bruins. But oh my God, look at the Chicago Blackhawks, 175.
And they suck.
What is going on over there?
They're just trying to capitalize on the fact that they have Bedard or something.
That's the Bedard fee right there. All right. We're coming down to the last couple of things that I wanted to mention. If you haven't seen already, the PWHL is expanding. They are bringing Seattle and Vancouver A team, and this is pretty cool. I think it'll be great for the proximity wise to continue to create that rivalry that the Seattle Kraken have been able to sort of create with Vancouver. I think this will be great, not only to continue building on hockey presence in Seattle, and it'll definitely be something great for Vancouver. Obviously, Canada, big hockey community out there, another team for them to watch. And all I've got to say is California win, and don't make it LA.
It will probably be LA. They always get it first.
I will not be rooting for LA.
Me neither. Honestly, I wouldn't mind picking up Seattle or Vancouver, depending. Honestly, I still base it off colors, because like it's not my area, you know. If it was here, down. I'm loyal down to the Bay, but like it's not here. I'm like, what do I have to choose from? I don't know these players. I don't have time to watch them because the schedules have been so weird. Although, because they will be on the West Coast, I will probably be able to watch more games this way. That's fun. But how do I choose between Seattle and Vancouver? I have a soft spot for Vancouver. I have a soft spot for Seattle. It's going to come down to the colors and the name.
Got a lot to think about over there.
It's so unserious. This is exciting though.
In some non-hockey news and a bit of a, I don't want to end on a upsetting note, but there are a couple of things that are important to me to bring up today. And I've been thinking about how I wanted to approach this, and I think there's just really no great way to do it, because it should be a time of celebration, but unfortunately someone had to go and ruin the party. Just today, Vancouver had a festival for Lapu Lapu Day. Oh, was it yesterday? Okay. So it was yesterday, but today is Lapu Lapu Day. But this was in relation to what they were celebrating, Filipino culture. I'll get into a little bit of the history in a bit. The BBC reported that at least 11 killed after car driven through Vancouver Festival. Yeah, so this was reported on Saturday. They have apprehended the suspect. But as I mentioned, this is related to a festival. I'm just going to kind of give some information on that. Lapu Lapu Day. Lapu Lapu, whose name was first recorded as Lapu Lapu, was a Datu, which is a chief of Mactan, an island now part of the Philippines. Lapu Lapu is known for the 1521 Battle of Mactan, where he and his men defeated Spanish forces led by Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan and his native allies Raja Humaban and Datu Zula. Magellan's death in battle ended his voyage of circumnavigation and delayed Spanish occupation of the island by over 40 years until the expedition of Magellan Lopez de Legazpi, which reached the archipelago in 1565. Modern Philippine society regards him as the first Filipino hero because of his resistance to Spanish colonization. Monuments of Lapu Lapu have been built all over the Philippines to honor Lapu Lapu's bravery against the Spaniards. The Philippines National Police and the Bureau of Fire Protection use his image as part of their official seals. So as I mentioned, Lapu Lapu's, he's considered the first Filipino hero. In 2017, it was declared that April 27th, which is at the time of this recording, the date, as Lapu Lapu Day for honoring the first hero of the country who defeated foreign rule. And then in British Columbia, Canada, it was officially recognized as Lapu Lapu Day in 2023, acknowledging the cultural contributions of Filipino Canadians, one of the largest immigrant groups in the province. And then in the United States, a street in south of Market, San Francisco, is named after Lapu Lapu. That street and others in the immediate neighborhood were named by the San Francisco Board of Supervisors with names derived from historical Filipino heroes on August 31st, 1979. And if it wasn't bad already that someone decided to drive a car through the festival area in Vancouver yesterday, killing 11 attendees, I'm sad to report that Jiggly Caliente, RuPaul's Drag Race star and judge of Drag Race Philippines, has died at 44 today. Caliente had been suffering from complications due to a severe infection and as a result had undergone surgery, losing most of her right leg. The news was confirmed by her family, who shared the update on her Instagram page. They wrote, "It is with profound sorrow that we announce the passing of Bianca Castro Bejo, known to the world and cherished by many as Jiggly Caliente." Bianca passed away peacefully on April 27, 2025 at 4:42 a.m., surrounded by her loving family and close friends. A little history on Jiggly. Caliente competed in season 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race, which she placed 8th. She would later return to compete in All Stars 6, which she placed 12th. The fan favorite wowed audiences with her talent, humor, and killer dance moves. She is also known for being a judge on Drag Race Philippines. Caliente was on the judging panel for 3 seasons of the franchise. She was born in San Pedro, Philippines, before moving to America. Her drag race name was named after the Pokemon character Jigglypuff. She came out as transgender in 2016. So, guys, I'm Filipino. I've loved the hell out of Drag Race Philippines. I've loved everything that Jiggly Caliente has stood for, the fact that she's also trans and, big part of the Filipino community the fact that this is Lapu Lapu Day, supposed to celebrate the, historic resistance of the Spaniards trying to come in and colonize the Philippines. It's a very polarizing day today, but I really kind of wanted to bring that to light. And if you don't mind, Ines, I'd like a moment of silence for a little bit. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me in that. And yeah, so I hope you kind of learned something about today and how important it is to the Filipino community. And we kind of wish folks affected in the Vancouver area and folks who were touched and who loved Jiggly Caliente, wish you strength in these coming days. And just wanted to make everyone aware of Lapu Lapu Day.
I did see the report of the incident last night. Like I've mentioned before, I lived in Vancouver for a bit. It's like I have a soft spot for it because I did live there and I got to experience the culture. I have friends up there, and I did have to check in on some of them because of this festival, the incident, everything. And one of them was actually at the festival. I messaged her. She was fine, but she said that she was getting food, and she was like, I think a taco truck she was at, if it had taken 10 minutes longer, she would have been there for the incident. So they feel, while like it's not hitting super close to home for me because I wasn't there, I feel it's a bit eerie knowing that, like, yes, I know someone who was there who just missed this incident, and I haven't even finished reaching out to my other friends who are out there. So it is sad. Like, you can feel the sorrow. The Vancouver community is grieving. It's really strange because you don't really hear this happening too often in Canada. This is things you hear happening a lot here in the States, unfortunately, but not in Canada. So I think it's hitting them a little bit harder than it would be here. Unfortunately, we are a little bit desensitized to acts of violence. But, just sending out well wishes, warmth, strength, whatever it is that you guys need, grief, mourning. It's a hard time. Just take care of yourselves.
On some positive news, we did a giveaway during the CUDA's first round matchup in the AHL playoffs. And I just want to thank everyone who participated in it. The giveaway was for the Sharks trading cards pack that was given out for the finals regular season game for the Sharks. And Brenton on Blue Sky and Joel on Twitter were the proud recipients of this prize. So that's going to go out tomorrow. And yeah, so thanks so much for participating in that. Joel in particular, I just want to give a shout out. He's been a longtime follower of the podcast. We've seen your comments on the YouTube videos. Thank you for continuing to support us and tuning in with every episode that we put out. And so it's really nice that you were able to win this card pack, that you're able to give it a good home.
Yeah, enjoy those. They're fun.
All right. Woo. Any closing thoughts before we
Yes. On a more positive note, I don't know if you noticed, but my jersey came in. Look how sexy she looks back there. Okay, so those of you guys listening and not watching the video on the YouTubes, I mentioned a few episodes ago that I entered one of the jersey auctions for the Sharks for the Salvadorian Heritage. I did win one, and it just came in the mail a couple days ago. It's beautiful. On the back, it's had the number 24. It just says Sharks on the nameplate, and it is signed by the team. So I officially have something signed by a Macklin celebrity, and I am stoked.
Ooh.
That's all.
Cool. All right. So that is kind of it for us today. We had a lot of stuff that we talked about today, and I think it's all good stuff. So hopefully you enjoy it as well. As always, please give us, like, subscribe, send us, put in a comment.
Show us some love,
on
guys.
YouTube or on all the platforms. We are more active these days on Blue Sky because Twitter is just a nightmare more and more these days. So for my mental health, I'm kind of keeping that far away as possible. So if you're on Blue Sky and you're wanting to follow us, we're on there. Go check us out. Leave us a review on any podcast platform that you listen to us at. It really just helps us to get, a boost on those platforms and for the algorithm to get us to where we need to be so we can get more folks interested in checking us out if they're looking for a podcast like us. So really appreciate all of your support. And as always, I am your host, Jay.
And I'm other host, Ness. Thanks for joining us again. Bye.
Goodbye.